So I have 10 hours worth of gameplay now in Hogwarts Legacy. And being the fact that it's only about 10 hours, I wouldn't really call this like a proper full game review. But judging by the fact that everybody has short attention spans and people tend to only pay attention to things for a short amount of time, if you haven't even already clicked away from this video, I figured 10 hours is more than enough. Like my initial plan was to only play like an hour or so of the game and then make this little review. But the problem is the game is so slow that not enough happens in the first hour of the game to really judge it. So as a matter of fact, it's so much story time and so many cutscenes that my daughter was confused, thinking that she goes, "I thought this was a game." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a game." She's like, "But it looks like a movie." And now the graphics are good enough, but it seems like it could be like an animated series because like even other people I've watched review it said like I don't even know why I'm holding the controller because I'm like it's just so much talking. Now, of course, I haven't cheated to look at the full plot reveal yet. I don't know what the full storyline is going to be, and I am playing it as the game is intended. For the most part, like I'm watching all the cutscenes, I'm playing the main storyline. I'm not really doing side quests, so it's not like I've got 10 hours in this game and I've kind of meandered. I haven't. I've steadily gone through the major plot lines of what you need to do to progress in the game, and I've just listened to the conversations. And so at first I was like, well, it's kind of cool that we get actual voice acting in this game because I don't most of the stuff I play it's not really like that. But at the same time, I realized that to get that natural cadence and natural conversation flow, it's going to slow down the game because inevitably you're going to read a whole lot faster than you would if you're sitting there and listening to people. Like me playing games, later in the night for the most part, I've actually had a problem where I've almost fell asleep, a couple of times where I started to nod off as the conversation is playing out, right? Now, as a Harry Potter fan, and I would say I'm a pretty big Harry Potter fan, like I would say even huge. Like I wouldn't call myself hardcore because I wasn't the kind of guy that, I grew up with the series, so I didn't stand in line for midnight releases of the books or the movies or anything like that. But I was definitely like first in line the next day it came out, or the official day of its release, to grab the books or whatnot. And I burned through them really quick. And I was first day release to go watch the movies and whatnot. And so I'm a big fan of the series, right? Now, at first going into the game, I didn't really know much about it myself. I just watched like some combat gameplay. I was like, well, that's going to be the make or break for me whether I want to get this game or not. And I guess that now having played as much as I have, I realized that what I was watching was probably an in-game guy who was just, showcasing at the end of the game. And it looked really fun. And it is fun. Like when you actually get to play properly, when you're in combat, the combat system is fun. But the problem is like in the first 5 hours of gameplay, there's like 3 major times where you actually fight. And like I remember even like last night, like I had a fight in a dungeon. The first dungeon I got to was around 7 or 8 hours in, and then like by the time I went to go save and get off, it had been 2 hours between the time of me finishing the dungeon and me logging out, and there was no new fights, and there was none looking like on the immediate horizon. And it gets to the point where, because as you start to build up your spell repertoire, it gets so convoluted that it kind of is hard to get good at the game simply because of the fact that, just like anything, skills are perishable and you're not using them enough to really stay good at it, Now, I guess this could change further on down the game, but like, even if it does, like, what does it matter? Like, if it's such a struggle to get through it, it's insane. Like I'm playing through Steam on a PC, of course, and I'm watching the achievements pop up, and even after like when you get to the second achievement, it's like it drops down like 79% of players achieved it. I'm like, why is that? And then I realized it's just because like just getting to Hogwarts alone, I think is like the first 2 hours of the game, and like after the first hour and change, you finally do have a fight. And it's great. You're like, all right, here we go. The game's finally popping off. And then, like, you get to the school, and it drags out again before you can get to the next time where you're actually using your combat spells. And and even as like as beautiful as the world is and as cool as immersive as it is and how detailed everything is, like even that, like the novelty wears off fairly quickly, and once it does, it just does become like a pretty boring drag. Now, if the game was more, was slimmed down and there was more combat involved, then I would give this, like a triple thumbs up. This game would be amazing, but unfortunately, it's not. So I think for a casual gamer who's not really super interested in Harry Potter, or even for a casual Harry Potter fan, this game is going to be like agonizing to get through. Um, Now, I don't say this like saying that the only person who's going to enjoy this is a Harry Potter fan. That's because that's not the case. I think if you don't mind an easier game, because there are four modes of difficulty on this. You have the story mode. You have easy, medium, and hard, right? And I'm playing on or normal, right? So I guess normal would be your medium setting. I'm playing on normal, and it's not super hard. I guess that there, some of the difficulties where you do kind of get jumped and you can't see behind you. Like you do have like a targeting mark that hits you, like if you're about to get hit, so it does help a little bit. But again, like this game, like you need a lot of combat reflexes, to be able to shield yourself or to roll out of the way. And like sometimes when the attacks are coming from multiple angles, you'll have to repeat a scenario multiple times, from dying, simply because of the fact that like I said, like the skills are perishable. So while you're dying, it's just because you're getting used to the combat system again and relearning your reflexes. And then once you do that, it's easy enough. But man, I think this game has massive potential. Like I can even see this game being like an MMO. And like I think the conversation of making this live service would be great, because it would suck to get to the end of this game where you're all kitted out and like ready to actually do things, and then there's nothing else to do anymore. Especially after going through so much of a story grind. I think this game would just, like, you need to get it off the story mode and just let it go, do quests, do adventures and stuff like that, and this game would be amazing. Like if it was nonstop action through it, or pretty close to nonstop action, again, like I've already said, this game would be absolutely amazing. It's just bogged down by the story gameplay. I have never in my entire life like played anything that pulls like this. Like I can't believe I'm 10 hours into it and I can literally count 5 scenarios that actually happen where you're actually in combat in this game. So again, I think that, yeah, for 17.99, this game is amazing. Like that's an amazing value. I mainly got it for benchmarking, and I'm actually having fun with it. It's like out of all the games I have on my Steam library, which admittedly isn't much, it's the one I have the second most amount of gameplay in right now. Um, and it'll probably be the first game on my Steam account that I actually complete. The first one because it's like it's easy. Like I said, it's easy enough. Like it's slow to get through, but the game's not hard, so it's not like stopping you. It's not like a frustrating affair. So I guess that would be one thing if you're casually gaming and you're not looking for something that's gonna kill you or make you upset. Then this is to be the game, because the only thing that's gonna make you upset here is just like how many times you could potentially nod off while you're playing through it. Yeah, so that's a quick, hopefully quick enough little roundup on this game. Yeah, I think you should buy it at this price. But again, like I'm making this now, and there's a time limit on it. There's like 26 hours before the promotion ends. So hopefully I can help this out with maybe some casual gamers come along and find this and hop on it while it's still super cheap. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and peace.